He's not voluntarily given me $1 in 2 years.
I don't have a checking account. I don't have any money at all. I don't even have $1 to my name.
He needs a fire lit underneath him to get to work.
Her idea of me or how much money I should be making, that should be irrelevant to even speak about, or, what I need to do with my life. That's none of her business.
State's requesting the court find a judgment on the arrears as of April 30th, 2024 in the amount of $20,979.25 and order repayment at a reasonable rate. I believe parties are not in agreement as far as the modification goes. Mr. Vandiver is alleging that he is not able to work and has been having difficulty finding new employment from his prior job. I believe Miss Copeland is alleging that Mr. Vandiver could work and has been intentionally underemployed during this time.
Was the state seeking a modification upward or downward on that motion to modify?
Your Honor, I believe it was originally a motion to modify downward due to Mr. Vandiver's income level reducing, but I do not believe Miss Copeland is in agreement with that, and the facts may show that it's not warranted.
All right, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and swear both of y'all in, and then I'm gonna get some testimonies from you folks as far as what's going on. The state didn't mention that anybody's getting any type of disability or disabilities pending. So the court will look at, like I said in my opening statement this morning, or as my opening speech, court looks at what the income is. I'll look see whether or not what the history of income is, and whether or not there are any special circumstances that warrants the court doing something different than what the law requires.
Was I correct in stating to the court that you're requesting this modification?
Well, yeah. I lost the.
I'll ask you questions. Don't worry, sir.
I'm sorry.
And why are you requesting the modification?
Well, I lost my job in 2020.
What job was that?
That was working for the Lehigh White Cement plant.
What did you do there?
Well, I kind of climbed my way up the ropes. I started off as a serviceman, and by the time I left, I was a control room operator out there.
Oh, what was that? A operator?
A control room operator. Yeah, I kind of ran the plant, behind computers and stuff.
Okay. When you left that job, did you go voluntarily? Were you fired? Did they downsize?
Well, I was going through a divorce, a lot of personal problems, and I was let go.
Okay. And by let go, you mean they offered you to voluntarily quit or fire, or did they fire you?
I got terminated. Yeah. Ultimately, I got fired.
Okay. And was that a union job?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you a part of the union?
I was.
Okay. Since you lost that job in 2020, where have you been working?
Well, the only legitimate job, per se, would be I went to work for Ferguson in the beginning of 2022, and I worked there from January until July of 2022. And since then, after my license got suspended and everything, I've just had a hard time finding someone that's close enough, that I can get to work. Right now, I'm actually waiting on a company that's close by. I've had a second interview with them. I'm hoping that these guys. Well, my second interview went really well, and I'm thinking that I'm probably going to get hired. It's just that that the plant, it's a new plant, and they haven't quite opened up yet. But I've already had a second interview with the production manager, and he seems. I kind of feel really good about getting hired on out there. In the meantime, I'm probably going to be helping, riding with a friend to work who does bricklaying. They build schools mainly. It's just a labor job where I'll be a helper, basically.
Okay. For the new job where you've had the second interview, what position are you interviewing for?
Well, I interviewed for just the kind of the lowest position. It was like a production assistant position where you're out on the floor. Um, you know, making installation is what they do. And so, and then after talking to the production manager for a really long interview, we kind of went over my resume and some of the things that I've done. And he said that I might be more interested in applying for, maybe a better job out there like maintenance, or even they even have like a control room operating job there also. It's definitely not the same as what I was doing before, but take analyzing lab results and things like that.
Okay. Do you need any special licenses or anything to do this new job?
No, nothing that I won't be able to get on site. Maybe like running, I have some forklift and stuff like that just to re-up some stuff, but training, safety training and stuff like that.
Okay. What are the wages that you're looking at for the newer job?
Well, we never really discussed that, just kind of word of mouth. Somewhere in between the 18 to 22 to 25, maybe, 25 probably at the top. I'm really not sure. We didn't really get into the whole, how much will I be making, because the next step would be the company sending me email, making like a job offer to me, which they haven't done yet. The second interview, the way that we ended was the man just said that, this looks really good. I'm going to go ahead and recommend you to so and so, and just be waiting, just wait for us to give you a call. But that was some time ago, and I've even tried to get back in contact with them and see kind of what the holdup is, and they're just kind of like, well, just kind of hang tight. So I recently got into touch with a buddy of mine that lives here in the town I live with, and told him that I needed to get back to work really soon, and he was in the process of talking with his boss and seeing if he could get me on there until I can find something better.
And that's the day laborer job as a bricklayer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, as a bricklayer's helper.
Okay. And how much would you make at that job if they got you on?
Probably about $16 an hour.
Okay. And what did you make at your prior job when you were a control room operator?
At Lehigh. I think I left that place making like $35 an hour.
Okay. And was that so the prior order in this case was done in 2015. Were you working at that job in 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that order was based on your wages at that time with that job.
Yeah, I think well, it was based on what I started out making, which I don't remember what that even was now, something like somewhere around 20, I'm sure.
Okay. Do you understand that the state is showing you in arrears in this case in the amount of $20,979.25 as of April 30th, 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I'd like to offer into evidence the pay record from Mr. Vandiver.
All right, states once admitted, you may proceed, Ms. Hubbard. Thank you.
So on the pay record, it looks like you started falling behind a little bit in 2020 and then haven't consistently made payments since July of 2022. Does that sound correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's because you were having issues finding work?
Well, no, it's just I have a suspended driver's license. So I've been trying to find something that's close enough to where I could get, maybe my mother could help me get back and forth. I live in this little Oglesby doesn't even have a business here, and so I've been applying at jobs that are close. And the one job that I did get hired at, I got hired on the spot, and then I got unhired when they found out that my license was suspended. And so, and then like I got a call back from SpaceX, kind of the same thing. I almost got hired on out there, which I'm reapplying to SpaceX right now even. Got this really good job that's pending, and then I got the brick thing that I know I can do. Other than that, I've just been applying and you know, and kind of striking out here and there.
And when did you move to Oglesby?
I moved here. What my wife and I split up in 2020 after I lost my job, and so I've been here for going on, or the end of 2020. So I've been here for going on 4 years now.
And when did your license get suspended?
My license got suspended my license got suspended in 2019. I haven't had a license since 2019, but when my wife and I were still together, she was driving me to work and things like that, and until I got fired.
As far as your license status are you taking steps to try to remediate it, or is it a court-ordered suspension for a number of years?
Yes, it's court ordered. Really, the only thing that's keeping me from getting my license back right now is, you know, it's going to cost. I have to get another lawyer, and so it's going to cost a little bit of money, and I do have to take another. Before I can get them, I have to take a class. Rather expensive class, and so it's really just money. I'm broke.
Okay. Do you have any other children under the age of 18?
No, ma'am. I have an 8-year-old son.
So you have one other child under the age of 18 besides the child in this order?
Yes, ma'am. I thought you said over. I'm sorry.
Okay. Is there anything I haven't asked you about? Oh, I do. You're requesting that the court begin your modification downward prior to next month. Can you talk to the court about why you're asking for that?
Are you asking the retro?
Well, it's not retro because it's been previously ordered, but you were asking that the court modify your current support amount back in 2022 when all parties were served?
Yes. Well, I was just, if it's according to what you make, and I quit making money in 2022, basically. I was just going to see if there was a way, you know, the lady that I spoke to said it would be, the number would be significant.
That's negotiations, sir. So,
or the minimum wage thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that'll be negotiations. We don't talk about those in front of the judge. Just
okay.
Making sure the court's aware you're not disabled at this time.
I'm not disabled, no.
Okay, you don't receive any kind of SSI or SSDI or any military or veteran benefits?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm laughing at myself, not you. And are you in the process of applying for any disability or any benefits?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, I pass the witness.
All right, sir. What did you get your license suspended for? What was the cause of that?
DWI, sir.
All right, and are you still on any type of probation or parole on that?
Yes, sir.
How long was that set for?
From my court date, which it happened right around COVID time, and the offense was in 2019, but I really didn't get I didn't get put on probation until
4 years. What was the time frame, sir?
8 years.
8 years. Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions of this witness at this time, Ms. Hubbard?
No, Your Honor.
I'll be back in a moment. Call your next witness, please.
Rebecca Gwen Copeland.
And Ma'am, are you in agreement that Mr. Vandiver owes you about $20,000 as per
Yes.
our records? Okay. And has
Yes,
there been
ma'am.
any money given to you directly during that time?
No.
Okay. You are alleging that Mr. Vandiver is intentionally underemployed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Why, without telling the court, you can say anything that Mr. Vandiver has told you directly, or things that you are witness to, but you can't say what other people have told you that are not in this court. Can you let us know why you think that he's intentionally underemployed?
Well, the job that he spoke of that he was terminated from, he had an opportunity, first off to keep that job. And he told me he was let go because his company offered him to go to rehab, and he did, because he came to work intoxicated, but he did not complete the outpatient portion. So, that was a bad choice that resulted obviously in bad consequences. So he's trying to tell the court that for 4 years, he's only worked basically, at least for the past 2 years, he's worked for, just a few months. I know that he had a property on Harrison that was sold. I know that he supports his other son. I know that at some point he's had $1, $10, $20. I have seen him selling a pickup truck on Facebook, furniture on Facebook, and would not doubt if he's not, and this is speculation, getting paid cash under the table. There's one payment that came to me in August.
Here's the deal. Only testify to what you know specifically. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am. So he told me that he was working at Ferguson when he got that job, and he told me that it wasn't worth it by the time they took his child support out, and he quit the job. The payment that came to me last year, as soon as he realized that the Attorney General had tracked him and garnished that wage, he quit that job. So these are all choices. He is an able-bodied person, and I do not believe that he has not been working or had a source of income from the sale of his home, from his retirement. I don't believe he has not had a source of income. And the first time he wanted to have this modification a couple of years ago, everybody showed up. We all stopped, drop, and roll. Everybody shows up. He refused to show his financials to the mediator. And she said, well, my hands are tied. He won't provide any information. So he was non-cooperative. And the last 2 mediations we've had, he's been a no-show. So that's where I'm at with it. And I do believe that he's been working. I do believe he's had income. And he's not voluntarily given me $1 in 2 years. So that's where I'm at with it.
So the payments you're alleging that he quit the job from was the job that we started withholding in 2020? Is that what you're alleging?
In 2020, he lost his job for failing rehab. I'm talking about when he started making payments again, and as he just stated to you all, he started working for a company called Ferguson.
Is that in 2022? I'm trying to track it on the pay record is why I'm asking.
Yes, it would be when he said he worked in 2022 from January to July.
Okay.
There was a long gap, and then child support started again.
Okay.
And then he told me he wasn't making enough money. He said the job sucked, and after child support was taken out, it wasn't worth his time.
All right.
I never said that.
Sir.
Yeah, okay, sir. No, interrupt the other witness. You'll have a chance to tell the story on that one. Thank you.
And
he called me and he was freezing cold. Yes, he was in his mother's car.
Wait for the next question. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
As far as him taking care of another child, does that child live with him, or is it, you said it's his son?
And I'd like to, ask about the sale of his property. He said he lived with his mother for 4 years.
We'll get there. Yeah. We'll have the state ask him that in a moment, but for right now, let's go ahead and answer the questions they're asked.
Okay.
Sure.
So right now, as far as insurance for your daughter, who's providing her health insurance?
No one.
And you
He
don't
was
have.
court ordered to do so.
I understand. I'm asking questions to get there. Right now, you don't have anything available through your job that's affordable?
I do not. I am a teacher at a private school, and they do not offer insurance, it being a private school. And so, you know, being that there's been no child support in 2 years, you know, of course, I'm already financially strained. I do not qualify. My child does not qualify for Medicaid. I've shopped on private policies, but, you know, once again, I pay for her tuition, after school care. I've been supporting her for, you know, all these years. So no, I can't afford it. So every time she has to go to the doctor, that's a bill that I get, that I make payments on, or, you know, pay out of pocket, you know, whatever I can do at the time. So have
you submitted any of those bills? We can't talk about mediation,
No.
ma'am. Have you submitted any of those bills to Mr. Vandiver?
I don't know how to submit them to him. He's
It
not
should
been a
have been
part of my
included
daughter's
in your
life.
prior order.
These are just the recent bills, because when he was working, he had her on his insurance.
Okay.
So this is just the past couple of years. I haven't had the opportunity to go before a judge. Our case was transferred to Bell County, and this is the first time I've spoken with a judge or had the opportunity. Like I said, all these mediations he hasn't shown up for, so no, I haven't submitted anything.
Okay.
I just usually go and make the minimum payment, you know.
Your Honor, the prior order, I'd like to ask the court to take judicial notice of the prior order in this case that was done in 2016 that says, has the warning on it, a parent ordered to provide health insurance or to pay additional child support for cost of health insurance is liable for 100% of necessary medical expenses of the child.
All right, court, we'll take judicial notice of the court file and the prior orders, and that's a standard boilerplate for every one of that type of order. Court will duly note. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. And sorry, I'm checking. Previously, your information, it looks like your phone number and your email address were included in the prior order, but your information was found to be worthy of a non-disclosure finding. Is that correct, ma'am?
That's correct.
Okay. Are you asking that the court continue that finding today?
I am.
Okay. I pass witness, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, I'll be back in just a moment. Well, I'm sorry, ma'am, what county you live, what city you live in right now?
I'm in Temple, Texas.
All right, thank you. You may recall the father at this time. Thank you.
Have you sold a home or sold a vehicle while you haven't been paying child support?
My home was auctioned off after my wife and I basically abandoned it. After she left, I moved home. I wasn't able to make the payments on my house payment, so it went back to the bank and it got auctioned off. I didn't make anything on my house.
Okay.
It basically got repossessed, and a truck. I bought a truck. Well, my mom bought a truck to have here at the house. That truck was in her name. I helped pay for the truck at the time, but there was some mechanical issues with it, and so yeah, I sold it. But that was my mother's truck, so I mean, I owed mother money just for bills and for groceries and stuff. It wasn't. It was a 2001 Toyota Tundra with almost 400,000 miles on it. It wasn't valuable.
And as far as how you've been making money when you're not employed, do you are you able to make things? I think is what Miss Copeland testified to.
I guess she assumes that I've been working. I mean, I don't know, but no, my mother's been taking care of me and my son. You know, I mean, thank God I have a loving mother that's helped me out a lot. I mean, I went through a really bad state of depression after my wife and I split up, and I came home, and it's been really hard. We've been struggling too over here. It's not like we're living it up over here. We're struggling a lot, and I do need to get a job really soon for my daughter, for my son, my mother, all of us. I mean, I'm trying to get a good job so that I can get caught back up on all of this stuff. I mean, that's my biggest goal right now. I went through a couple of years of some horrible stuff, and I'm trying to get out of it.
All
And
right,
I
sir.
know that I have to work.
Are you and your
work
are you and your wife still married?
legally, yes, but we've been separated for 3 years.
Okay, well, and you're still married. I was asking about the divorce. All
Yes.
right, sir. And on your prior job, have you cashed in any type of 401ks or any type of retirement accounts from that last job or any other retirement?
No, sir.
All right. Do you have retirement there, sir?
No. I remember. I can't even really remember now. I think I cashed my retirement. I did something with my 401 while I was still working there, and then I got in trouble on taxes with that. So no, I don't have any retirement. I don't have a checking account. I don't have any money at all. I don't even have a dollar to my name.
All right, sir. And what was your reason for leaving the job in 2022?
Well, can I just clarify the rehab thing is I did go to rehab, and when I got home, I had some outpatient stuff to do through Zoom. It was during COVID, and I was unable to do a Zoom meeting, which I was like 2 classes away from being done. I'd already finished that thing up, and I missed a Zoom meeting, and they terminated me from the outpatient thing after I'd already finished it, and then they wrote a letter to my company, and I got terminated for missing a Zoom meeting. So that was horrible how that happened. It shouldn't have happened that way. And then in 2022, when I was working midnights at Ferguson, I never said that the job wasn't worth it. I was actually making enough money to keep my child support paid and bring home enough money to make it over here too. I mean, the money side of it was okay. It was just the job itself was too much for me. We were unloading trucks full of huge heavy toilets in them for like 8 hours a night. I mean, these were young kids. They're in their early 20s doing this stuff, and I mean, I literally just couldn't do it. My back was just fried from it, and I mean, I just physically I couldn't do it.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions of this witness then, Ms. Hubbard?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then you need to recall Miss Copeland for anything.
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
All right, then. Well, it looks like whatever we do is going to be a temp order because we need to get an update from Mr. Vandiver about those jobs he's probably looking at going forward. So at this time, based on that, I ask for the state to make I think those are your only witnesses, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let you make a closing statement, and then I'll let both of them make a closing statement. And again, folks, this is not gonna be a final order because we need to see what happens to Mr. Vandiver as far as his those current possible job openings he has. So at this time, I ask the state to go ahead and make their make a closing statement. A closing statement, what you're requesting. Thank you.
Your Honor, the state's asking that the court find Mr. Vandiver in arrears as of April 30th in the amount of $20,979.25, order a repayment plan, at least on a temporary basis. The state's requesting that Mr. Vandiver's child support be lowered. I don't know if he's intentionally underemployed or not, but I do feel like this case has been pending for some time. But the state is also aware that there has not been a change in this order since 2016, and it sounds like Mr. Vandiver was making more money than was considered in the prior order. So I guess honestly, Your Honor, we're asking for the court to decide what's fair in that instance, but at least temporarily maybe to reduce child support by some amount.
Yeah, do you want to make a closing statement at this time, ma'am? Again, this is going to be a temp order. We're going to have to come back and get an update. So what are you asking me to do temporarily, ma'am?
Sure. So temporarily, just like he stated, this original order in 2016 was based on a $20 an hour wage. So what he's told us is he might possibly be making anywhere from $16 up to $25 an hour. We've never had a modification, and he said he closed out that job making $35 an hour. So, $20 an hour, that's where we originally started when my daughter was 1. And it sounds like he's going to be in that ballpark if he is so blessed to land one of these jobs. So I move that there are no changes. He needs a fire lit underneath him to get to work. And the statement of my back hurt so bad, my back was fried. If I had $1 for every time I hurt, but I still went to work for my child, I wouldn't even need his money. So I'm tired of the excuses. I feel like I've wasted my day and my PTO listening to a big, long line of excuses, which boil down to choices. He chooses to drink. He chooses to have 4 DUIs. He chooses to be on TV running from the cops. These are all choices.
Okay, okay, ma'am,
And
stop, ma'am, stop. Here's the deal, ma'am. Don't make a closing statement on items that are not in, have not
Well,
been.
my closing.
I understand he may have been, I'm pretty sure you got something on that, but right now there was no prior testimony about that. And he didn't have a chance to be cross-examined about anything along those lines. So don't introduce new information to the court, just the stuff that we went over, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's fine. I've introduced all of that information to the lady who called me. I don't know who she is, but she has all that information. So, like I said, he was making much more money, and he never, paid more child support. So the fact now that he wants to lower it when he's potentially going to be making around $20 an hour, I see no point in that. It should remain the same, and he should, like I said, be moving mountains to get to work, because I've never stopped working 1, 2, 3 jobs, whatever it's taken. So I think he needs the motivation to get to work.
All right then, Mr. Vandiver, your turn.
I'm not going to sit here and argue. I never missed any kind of mediation. The last court date that I had, it was the one I talked to a lady on the phone that was from Williamson County. She said it was being transferred to Bell. I never missed any court dates in my life. I haven't been ducking work. So like I said, I'm kind of limited to where I can work and what I can do. And her idea of me or how much money I should be making, that should be irrelevant to even speak about, or what I need to do with my life. That's none of her business. And there was a time when my son didn't have insurance after I got fired from my job, and his mother was working, and he got Medicaid very easily. And I know that she can get Medicaid on her daughter too.
Don't speculate on what.
No, I can't. I'm over income.
Stop.
Fill out the paperwork.
Okay, hey, if I tell y'all to stop and the next person says a word, you're gonna do some time in Bell County, okay? When I say stop, I mean it. All right, thank you. Right now, sir, I know I've been through Oglesby several times coming from Gatesville and going to Waco. So you're only what, about 20-25 miles out of Waco, correct? And only about 15 miles out of about 5-10 miles out of McGregor. Is that correct, sir? Okay. All right, here's the deal. Where the part about what you owe for uninsured medical expenses, sir, yeah, that's gonna have to come up at a later date. But obviously, if you let your health insurance lapse, and any bill that occurred outside of that, since that lapse on that court order, sir, you owe. Right now you got $0 coming in, but this is not an enforcement, but that could very easily change if the state decides to file a motion for enforcement. So you may be looking at that down the road, sir. So, but for right now, $0 coming in is $0 coming in, and whether it's $700 a month child support or $400 and then some change child support, the bottom line is, sir, she's right. You need. I'm not sure. Everybody's got their own story, but. You gotta get back on that horse, and you gotta take care of business here, sir. So I'm only looking at doing this as a temporary order. Right now, based on what I've heard here today, I am going to go ahead and do a temporary child support modification. I'm going to go ahead and order, I'm going to take it down to $400 a month for starting the first day of June. But we're going to come back here and sometime in July. And I want to see what you're looking at, sir, because it's probably going to go all the way back up to where it was before. And I've got to reduce the unpaid child support amount to a judgment, and the interest alone on that on the unpaid child support is 120. So you're still not going to be that far, get that much of a break. So you're looking at current child support of 400 and repayment on your unpaid child support, sir, additional $120 a month, and that just covers interest, and that starts the first day of June. So I'm going to go ahead and look at getting you a break for a couple of months here, but in 60 days, I want to see something here. Otherwise, sir, I'm looking at having to raise it back up. And because again, the change of circumstances has not been substantial. There would have been certain items that happened here, but you're definitely not minimum wage material. So I can't order child support based on that. So I'm going to be looking at ordering child support based on probably where you were before, sir, at a minimum. In other words, not changing it around, and then you still got to pay the extra child support back. And you're probably looking at an enforcement cause of action. Again, sir, I don't know what you've gone through. I don't know what your circumstances are personally. But the time for not taking care of this circumstance is over. And I'm the guy that's got to make sure it's over, sir. And I don't play with child support. You take care of your kids, you pay what you're supposed to, and you get it done. If you got to lift toilets for 6 months while you're looking for a new job, fine, do it. But the bottom line is, sir, that's the best I'm going to be doing on this one. And I'm going to be looking at coming back in one of our July dates. Well, what looks good at this time, Ms. Hubbard, can y'all give me a date on what we can come back in July and get this thing finalized?
We have July 2nd, July 9th, July 11th, or July 25th.
All right, let's just go with the middle one. Let's go with July. That's July 11th. That's about 60 days out. It gives Mr. Vandiver 60 days, 2 months to try to get his ducks in a row. So what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to reset this matter for our Zoom docket on the 11th. I'm going to go ahead, like I say, do a temporary order, temporary lowering the child support down to $400 a month, but I've got to go ahead and reduce the judgment, the unpaid child support, in order that repay is 120. So we're looking at $520 a month child support. I'm not going to change the part dealing with the health insurance. So dad needs to like I say, get a new job, get health insurance, and get the child back on his health insurance so he can stop being 100% responsible for uninsured medical expenses. So that's what I'm going to do, and guys. Again, I don't have an enforcement cause of action before me at this point, but Mr. Vandiver, I can tell you that's a coming based on what the state normally does in these circumstances. So let's go. I'll start with you, sir. Questions or anything else you think? You have any questions about the court's ruling or about the reset date, sir? You muted, sir.
Will we receive an email for the new date?
You'll get a copy of the order. The new order will have that information in it, and along with the Zoom code, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And you'll get that by DocuSign, as well as probably a mail copy or an email copy after it's signed by the court. Any other questions, Mr. Vandiver?
No, sir.
All right, Miss Copeland, questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, then, folks, I'll see you in July. And again, ma'am, this is no disrespect for you or everything. I understand your point of view. Kids cost money and it's got to be done. But like I said, I'm giving him 60 days to see if he can get this thing taken care of. Otherwise, well, the court will make a final order that I feel is appropriate going forward. And right now, that will more likely be keeping the old child support where it is. But hey, it's a day by day or month by month circumstances. But I want to get an update on all that. I'm gonna go ahead and give the baby a lawyer. Normally I'm doing a case like this, but I want some follow-up on what's been going on in this case, and the state does so much. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is at this time, I'm gonna appoint what's called an attorney ad litem to represent the child. Doesn't represent me, doesn't represent mom or dad, represents the child's best interest. And I'm gonna to follow up on each of your concerns about what's going on as far as your child is concerned. But again, that person will only present evidence, will only make recommendations that they feel are in your child's best interest going forward. And at this time, I'm gonna give this to Mr. Bramhall. All right, a gentleman named Isaac Bramhall is now your child's lawyer. I'm gonna, he'll contact both of you to get your sides of the story, to see what y'all want to do this for the benefit of your child. But the state needs your permission to give Mr. Bramhall your email addresses and your phone numbers. So at this time, Mr. Vandiver, do you have the state have your permission to give Mr. Bramhall your information for contact, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, Miss Copeland, your permission?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right, then. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and appoint him, and please cooperate with him. If it turns out to be a bad day for him in July, he'll let you know what that other set date is. We try to set dates that I know lawyers are gonna be here, and he might or might not be on the 11th, but if he's gonna be on a different one, he'll let you know, and he'll get you that reset order as far as which day in July, if it's gonna be other than the 11th of July that I just set everything on. And if there seems to be a problem or anything like that, if the Atlanta thinks there's a problem, he obviously has the right to file something to get back in before then. And of course, as lay people, you already do. You also have that right, but lawyers are the ones that usually do it because they know why they're doing it. Anyway, guys, see you in July, and I'll let the state do the reset order, and we'll start working on that further temporary order, or that temporary order that's mattered. May the parties be excused, Ms. Hubbard.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're both free to go. And like I said, we'll see you in July. We're off the record.
Until this point, I wasn't aware that I was being falsely accused of intentionally
Yeah,
quitting.
that's not my question.
Have you accurately notified the OAG every time you had an increase in your income?
He's never had a problem with employment before, and now all of a sudden he can't find a job.
This remark about me intentionally quitting my job is some nefarious statement that I wouldn't do, because it jeopardizes Shannon and I's son's well-being.
My client has watched Mr. Reyes make more and more and more income since the last review in 2014.